far. I'm hoping that you're having a good one and that you are staying hydrated because it's really sunny out there. It's really hot out there, and I don't want you, feeling some type of way because being dehydrated will have you having a headache, you feel very faint, you feel exhausted. So ensure that you are drinking enough water. Welcome to Hard Facts today. I hope you had a good time listening to Femi on the Morning Crossfire, Debbie on the Sunny Side Show, and I'm right here to, continue with you for the rest of the day up until 7 p.m. And as always, we are going to have an amazing time. My name is Itodo, and of course, you can always join the conversation across our platforms on YouTube and Facebook. We are live right now. Nigeria Info Abuja. Ensure that you follow the conversation. Drop your thoughts, your opinions, your comments. I will definitely be looking forward to them and reading them as the show progresses. You can also join in and share your thoughts via the WhatsApp line and call in when the phone lines open for you. Welcome to the Hard Facts, and of course the Roundtable stats right now. We'll be reviewing 3 big stories today, and I'm not here alone. I've got Tony Idoko here with me today, and he's going to joining the conversation and of course share his 2 cents regarding the headlines we'll be looking into today. Good afternoon, and great to have you on the show today.
Thank you very much, Itodo.
How's your New Year? Happy New Year to you. I haven't seen you this year, so it's safe to wish you Happy New Year.
Yeah.
How is January going for you?
Well, it's running very fast.
It is, right? This is a
Today
different...
is 24th, right?
Yeah.
Today is 24th.
It's a different January.
Yeah, but, we hope that it will be a great year for us.
Mm-hmm.
However, I know that things are going to be very tough.
You know that?
Yeah,
based off all you've seen? Why do you think so?
Well, we're going to have a new government coming. With all they've been promising and saying, they're going to take away the subsidy.
Mm-hmm.
So things are going to be...
So partial removal in April and...
Well, they didn't say partial removal.
In April? Then full removal in June?
Well, you see, April, then they won't be in by April. April, the president still hasn't handed over.
Yes.
But almost all of them, almost every one of them has promised to take it away immediately. So the moment they take it away, let's just get ourselves ready for a hard time.
Now, would you say
from that moment till December?
Would you say the removal is a good or bad thing?
I don't want it removed. I think it's not good. That's not the. I think it's not the best way to take away the subsidy. Do we really have a subsidy? Yeah. What's just going on there is just a criminal enterprise. It's not a subsidy. You don't subsidize what you have. Okay? So if you have if say you have a plantation, okay? You have a plantation and you get fruits from your plantation. Of course, you can sell out. You can sell to other people if you have a plantation, and then you bring home. How do you subsidize for your children? It's what you already have in abundance. So how do you subsidize that? How do you subsidize water to someone who lives close to the riverbank? Subsidy is supposed to be something that you don't have, which you are brought from outside at a price. Okay? Then that's okay, you know what? I need to help my people. If I sell it to them at this price, it's going to be difficult for them, so let me bring it down. But if it's something that you have in abundance,
but seeing that we don't have working refineries yet, even though we hear of governments working on a couple of these refineries that will be open, in the next couple of months. I mean, while we wait for that to happen, and with the hopes that...
The question is, why don't we even why are the refineries not working? Why?
Well, let's get into the...
It's not rocket science to make them work.
Well...
It's deliberate.
Now that you say that.
It's deliberate.
Yeah. Let's get into the stories we have for today. And this one has been making the rounds across various news platforms. It's about the power outage that disrupted the APC rally and stopped Buhari, the president, and Tinubu from giving their speeches. Now, the presidential campaign rally of the All Progressives Congress in Bauchi State was brought to an abrupt end by Monday by power outage. Now, the rally was going on at the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa Stadium in Bauchi when the power supply ceased and the sound system went off and could not be restored. However, there was an outage when the chairman of the Progressives Governors Forum, Atiku Bugudu, was making his speech at 12:20 p.m. Shortly after, the supply was restored and Bagudu came back to conclude his remarks. But at exactly 1:10 p.m., the power supply went off again. Shortly after, the APC National Chairman Abdullahi Adamu mounted the podium and began addressing the party supporters. Now, there have been calls for the president to join, in going around the country for the campaigns. And, he put that into his schedule and he's been doing that. But this one, which he somewhat looked forward to in Bauchi State, we had a bit of an issue. Some would say it's a sabotage, to prevent the president from giving a speech and, of course, ensuring that the voters or his supporters in this regard hear from him and also go on to support the presidential candidate of the APC. But seeing that the power outage happened, the president was said to have allegedly left in anger, even though he had another schedule, up his sleeve. So what are your thoughts? The embarrassment that would have cost the organizers as well as the planning committee of the campaign?
Well, thank you very much. Of course, it was a national embarrassment at a podium where the president, was standing. He could not even deliver his speech. I don't understand what anybody means by sabotage. It was a sabotage from whom? Who sabotaged the program? Okay, because 24 hours after, we haven't had a report, any report of sabotage, by anyone. Okay, now, the issue for me is, well, like someone said, he said maybe they should also have a taste of what Nigerians have been going through, with power outage and all of that.
Yes.
But let me even ask. I think it has to do with poor organization. Yeah, because if a very important program like that, I don't know if they were hooked onto aid to their, I don't know, the power generating
distribution company
around that area.
Yes.
I wanted to say ADC, but I know ADC doesn't operate in Bauchi.
That's what
but let me just use let me go back to the days of NEPA. Generally we call them NEPA. So I don't know if they were hooked onto NEPA, and if they were hooked onto NEPA, then I think it was poor thinking. Because when you are doing a program like that, you forget about NEPA. You have to look for alternative, sources of power. That's what people do. I know that even big churches here, when they go on service on Sunday, when they are going live on Sunday, they disconnect from NEPA.
Or maybe have a backup generator.
NEPA, you're not even supposed to have a backup. Let that just be on a very powerful source of energy. You're supposed to leave all of that, or maybe on one big Meccano or something like that. You're not supposed to be, because that NEPA must embarrass you.
But one would assume that with the president being there,
yes,
the power company in that location would know better and ensure that there is power supply constantly until that event is over.
Yes. Okay, that's what you think.
So what does that say about us? What does that say about these organizations, wherein they couldn't help it, and that just happened?
Well, how about if someone came in and who didn't know that area, is supposed to be at that moment. Maybe there's supposed to be power there at that moment, and so maybe someone left and someone came in and just say, it's time to shed the light, to take it to somewhere else, and then just change it over.
Right.
Because like you said, it took some time for the Kebbi State governor to get back. When power was restored.
Yeah.
Maybe it was when they ran and told someone, no, you can't take that. APC is having a rally there or something. But you see, it's a shame that we are still on the issue of power generation, power going off, when even at a time when we have, at this time it's more embarrassing because the president was there and the president could not deliver his speech. Okay? But I don't know why we should still be talking about power. What does it take to generate power? What does it really
What does he take? Because that seems to be a recurring issue in Nigeria.
It's the easiest thing.
A lot of people are still having to, pay so much, spend so much, and not get adequate power supply.
And you see, those leaders who are there, the political leaders, of course, they don't have shame. To them, you see, some people say, oh, no, it's shameful. So, like we just said, it's a national embarrassment. But that's what you and I think. They don't think it's an embarrassment. Okay? To them, it's not a big deal. Okay, yes, that there was no power. So what? You know, but how come we are still struggling with the issue of energy? Like I said, it's one of the smallest things to achieve in Nigeria if you actually wanted to. It's very easy. Do you know that, okay, that northeast, the whole of that northeast, because from Bauchi you go to Yobe. From Yobe you go to Borno State, Maiduguri. From Maiduguri you enter Adamawa. And then from Adamawa to Jalingo, Taraba, and all of that. That northeast, it's about the hottest part of this country. Have you been there? Have you been to the northeast?
Yes, I have been to a state there.
Now I lived in Maiduguri for about 8 years.
Okay.
So I can tell you that I don't know of any state hotter than that area. That axis, the Yobe and all those. So listen, the kind of solar energy we can generate from that place alone. In fact, if you look at that up to even the northwest, the heat that is there, the kind of energy we can generate and even distribute and sell to other nations is unquantifiable.
So why exactly are we not taking advantage of that option? Even though I know that private individuals and companies are doing that, but it's not mainstream yet. And that would be a good source of energy to Nigerians. And people have gone on to say that it is affordable, it is sustainable, and
it's free.
And it's free as well. So what's stopping us from ensuring that we harness that power option, that power?
It's part of the wickedness of leadership in Nigeria. They don't want that to happen, because if we can tap into that source of energy, do you know the budget of power in Nigeria? They don't know. You see, and all this budget that happens every year, no, it doesn't get to anywhere. Doesn't get anywhere, and so they keep on. You know, when I just feel like sometimes when they want to make money, you know, like I always say, maybe they just send somebody, just pull out something from the dam, from the Kanji dam, and then once they say, once you take it off the whole of Abuja and this area, there's no light, you know, and then they tell the president there's no light. President will just approve maybe how many billion for them to go and fix it. Then they'll just go there and knock something, to put something back, and then light comes back, and they have made some money. But you know, with this, it's free, and it's so much. Do you know that? I know that I think the hottest part of England, of the UK, is Scotland. Sorry, the coldest part of the UK is Scotland. And the coldest part of Scotland is Aberdeen. And even in Aberdeen, they're still using solar. As cold as it is. Right now, they'll ask you it's minus whatever. You understand? But yet, solar is, that little energy, that sunlight, is still, they still find it very useful.
It's your benefit to them.
Now, imagine a place like Maiduguri where if you open the tap, you can't drink water from the tap. You don't try it. Don't try it. Imagine a place like that area, like the Bauchi Yobe area, where sometimes, I recall those days in Maiduguri, sometimes from January, February, March, April, May, June, July, no rain yet. No rain. Still very hot. Sometimes you just say that, okay, maybe in the news that now maybe they call for I won't say a state prayer, kind of prayer. You see prayers everywhere for rain to fall. And then maybe in August, we might just register our first rain in August. You understand? Everywhere is hot. And yet all that energy, we're wasting it. So I don't know what God wants, what we expect God to do.
We'll wait for things to get better. Let's segue into what the president said while he made a courtesy call on the Emir of Bauchi, His Royal Highness Rilwanu Adamu. Now, he acknowledged the warm reception accorded him and the continued show of love by Nigerians, noting that the huge crowd that welcomed him wherever he went was a demonstration of genuine love and loyalty. And according to him, he has served Nigerians to the best of his ability. Now, what is this ability? What do we have right now based off the almost 8 years of him being in power?
The man is correct. He's correct. He says he has served according to his ability. You know, abilities are different. We are all gifted differently. You know, if you look at, let's take for instance the game of soccer, the game of football. If you look at Messi's and Ronaldo's abilities, they are how do I put it now? They are uncommon. Okay, they are not like the average ability of a footballer. Like I don't know what name to call, but they are just some that are just average players. You know, they are just okay. While there are some who are more skillful. He says he has served according to his ability. you cannot, you can't judge him. You cannot condemn that statement. That's his ability. Unfortunately, we didn't know in 2015 that his ability was this small. Okay, so because he told us he was going to do this and all of those stuff, and we believed him, and we went out and voted for him. Now we have seen that his capacity is not as we thought. So this is the much that he can give. In an exam, somebody gets maybe A. Somebody gets B, some gets C. So the person who gets
so that's based off your ability at that point. Yes,
and particularly, you see, if in that area, sometimes there are people that are not good in maths. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, even if you have to open his head and put in that maths, he will never be able to get a credit.
Good at something.
He'll never be able to get a credit.
Yeah.
So for him in this department of governance and leadership, this is his best. Maybe in some other thing, it can be A. You can score him A, he can be excellent and all of that. But when it comes to giving good leadership, this is the best that he can deliver.
But when you're not good at something,
he is now telling you that this is his best.
Wouldn't you rather have, your aides, those who you're working closely with, complement where you are, where your shortfall is?
Yes.
They're able to come in and ensure that things to go as planned, regardless of your ability.
What do you want the aides to do? We're in Nigeria. What you talked about compliment. I'm sure that's what the aides are doing. They're telling me you're doing very well. Okay, come. He just said he's done very well.
Compliment. So compliment.
Okay, compliment. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, not compliment.
Yeah, okay. But is that not what he's... Look, despite all of that, this is the best that they've been able to come up with. Is that not so? Of course, his aides and his ministers have been complimenting him. So this is the best that they can come up with. And that's why he tells you all he puts, I think, putting everything together, he says he has done his best.
Okay.
So we can't be... we may be angry, but this is actually his best.
All right, you can watch.
This is not the first time he said that.
Okay, you can watch us live right now on YouTube and Facebook. It's Nigeria Info Abuja. Do all to drop your comments there as well. Catch all the action happening in the studio right now. The WhatsApp number is 080-99930137. You can also hit us up on Twitter at Nigeria Info ABJ. We're going to a quick break right now. When we come back, we'll take your comments, get into other stories, and of course have Tony Idoko, who's right here, give his analysis and his review, and know what the next steps would be or should be in moving Nigeria forward. Stay tuned to Nigeria Info 95.1 Abuja.
Nothing breaks the news like the news. Trust me, I can prove it. I do it every morning on Morning Crossfire from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Nigeria Info 95.1, and I'm Femi D. Amede. Join the biggest conversation around the national politics every day in a way that is trustworthy, full of passion, and yes, covers the biggest politics and the stories that matter to you. See, you have all the reasons to find out what's going on in Nigeria and be engaged differently. Let's talk. That's the way to go, even this morning.
Kashim Shetima.
Moving on to more stories right now on the Roundtable right now. Remember that you can watch live on YouTube and Facebook at Nigeria Info Abuja. Ensure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel and click on the little bell up there, the icon right there, so that you can get updates as to whenever we go live. Moving on to what's happening in Lagos right now? Of course, the president's state visit. More jobs to come following the launch of the Lekki deep sea port and the Imota rice plant. Now, the recently opened Lekki deep sea port and the Imota rice mill are expected to generate more than 300,000 direct and indirect jobs and economic benefits worth more than $200 billion. That's according to the president. Now, he stated this during his 2-day official visit to Lagos State to formally inaugurate significant infrastructure projects that the state government and the private company MRS Holdings Limited have undertaken. Now, according to the president, this will work with his 10-year plan to help 100 million Nigerians escape poverty. He expressed happiness that since 2015, the alignment between the Lagos State and the federal government has more than met the demands of democracy. Now, of course, we know that collaboration is a good thing, but speaking about the outcome of collaboration, the president acknowledged the significance of the collaborations that made the projects possible. And he's gone on to state that the Lagos State government is pulling its weight in utilizing its resources and competitive advantage in creating employment at the local and national levels. We know that jobs are important to the growth of the economy. And in the past few years, the employment numbers they keep climbing. People are losing their jobs. There are no jobs, and it's just worrisome that young people cannot harness the skills, and they have to go through a hard time to get jobs, if any at all. But going by what's happening in Lagos right now, the Lekki deep sea port and the Imota rice mill, what immediate change, if any, should we be expecting?
Well, thank you. You said something just now about jobs jobs being important to the growth of economy. I think it should be the other way around. It's economy that's more important to the growth of jobs. If the economy is good, there will be jobs. If the economy is vibrant, there will be jobs. If the economy is shrinked, there will be no jobs. So economy is the superstructure of everything. Okay. So and you see what the Lagos State governor has done. I congratulate him. I congratulate the governor. I commend him, and I think he's one of the few governors that are working. Okay, and I tried to watch the ceremony this morning, and then I understand that blue rail he should be able to carry at least 25,000 people. I don't know if it's at once or if it's for maybe the whole day or so, but I think that's a good one. Lagos is naturally a blessed economy, by reason of the fact that it's a contiguous state. It has water. It has it was a former federal capital, and so an average Nigerian, once he finishes school, wants to go to Lagos. That's the only place you are sure of something. You are sure that at least you may not like what you have at the beginning, but eventually, if you are patient, you can get something. Even our artists, if you are gifted and you want to sing or you want to act, I think your
Lagos is the place to go.
Is the place. So Lagos is an economic hub on its own, and so, but this only adds to what is already on ground. Okay, and like I said, and someone I wish that the other governors can also take a look at.
I was going to get to that. So what can these governors learn? Because seeing that, based off reports, the unemployment rate in Nigeria as of 2022 was about 33%. What can other governors learn wherein young people would want to move to their state and establish there, and there's no pressure on Lagos? Because looking at the population right now, there's that pressure on Lagos wherein a lot of people after school, like you mentioned, want to move there in the hopes that the opportunities that are present would help them out in achieving the dreams that they have.
Yeah, you see, I think that part of the problem of Lagos is also caused by the governments in Lagos, or by, let me say, federal government. Okay, Lagos needs to be decongested right now. Okay, but you see, part of the problem is that Lagos alone has about 4 ports. Okay, they have about 4 seaports, and it shouldn't be. We should create ports in other cities. We have we have Port Harcourt. We have there should be a port at Calabar. There's supposed to be another one. I understand there was one they call that. So whether is it the Calabar Deep Port or whether it's Akwa Ibom also. If we have ports around those areas, there will be a little decongestion of Lagos. Those areas will also come up, and revenues. Those states will also generate revenues. But apart from that, other governors also can look inwards, because every state has something that it can bring to the table. But the problem with the governors in all the other states have been, I think it's just bad leadership. We've not been blessed with good leaders.
But it's not possible to have bad leadership across board. Would you say it could be a case of policy issues in some states wherein they are not at liberty to explore and harness what the state is, made up of?
No, I don't think so. It's clearly bad leadership. There are states that, in spite of these challenges, they're still trying. They still come. Look at Ebonyi State. Under this governor, this governor Umahi, go and see the kind of development. The man has taken the state a notch higher than what he met, where he met it. Okay, if you look at which other state, look at Borno State. Look at Governor Zulum. Despite the insecurity problem that he has, his man is still trying to, like I always say, Governor Zulum is one governor who, if he doesn't deliver, we can understand, because he's in the middle of a very serious security challenge. Okay, sometimes we see him in bathroom slippers. You see him in t-shirts. I think at one time he had come, almost face to face with those people. Instead of him to be chilling somewhere, unlike other his counterparts, maybe go to Dubai, go and relax, or go somewhere, or even come to Abuja and still sleep at transport, or even be in government house. But he comes out. We see him, he come out. So, but in spite of that, he's able to even, put in something on the ground. We see infrastructural development. We see roads. We see housing. And then and all of that. So we have a few governors who, despite, okay, look at Wike. Wike is not the first governor of Rivers State. In fact, what he has done so well that even the government at the center, had to call him and give him an award. You understand? And they call him whether is it project, something on infrastructure, something project, Mr. Project. So if you want to look at Cross River, the same Cross River under Duke is different from Cross River today. Is that not so? If you visited Cross River on Calabar under Duke, the place was very clean, very, very neat and very beautiful. Now, but if you go, the whole place is smelling.
Well, is this based off your personal experience of visiting the state, or based on the reports you've gotten so far?
I have been to Cross River. I have been to Cross River a number of times. I went in
recent times.
Yes. Okay. The last time, well, not the last time. One of the times when I went to, I'll tell you this. When I went to Cross River from the airport, the whole place honestly was smelling. Honestly, literally was smelling. The outside everywhere. Unfortunately, the cab we entered the AC had problems, so the windows were down. So everywhere we saw heaps of refuse everywhere. Now it took Channels TV to do a report on it, on their community, one of these their program, they call it whether community reporting or something like that. It took Channels before the governor now came out and now said, the contractor that they gave the job to clean all the, but I even if you talk to anybody who has been,
what does this say about?
There's a clear difference. Look at Tinapa. Tinapa is still working.
Maintenance culture.
It's Obudu Katira. These were the projects of Duke, of Governor Duke. So, but what has happened? So, the problem of Nigeria is with the governance. We have 36 state governors. If we had up to 20 of them who are doing very well, the congestions in Abuja and in Lagos, of course, will be drastically reduced. So many people will not need to come here. If we had governors who are working, okay, look at the almost all of them have EFCC cases. Of course, you know what they do if they want to escape prosecution. Okay, how come when they finish, you hear this one has to answer charges of embezzling about 50 billion, of 30 billion, of so and so billion. So it has nothing to do with whether of any policy. After all, you are the governor. So if you have a problem, if there's a policy, if you have a policy, okay, that you think is a clog in your wheel of progress, what do? You're the governor. You send a bill to the National Assembly, and work at it. You rejig it, but they're not doing that. So it's just being a governor is just an avenue for you to just come and help yourself. Just change your life.
Now, I was going to have you speak on maintenance culture in Nigeria, because we see projects get launched every now and again. Even though I would state that sometimes this project's being launched, there's a bit of exuberance in it, and there's a bit of too much spending. When citizens see these projects working, it's enough to tell them that you've done something, as opposed to the PR, which some would say is a good thing. I mean, based off the president being in Lagos yesterday, the port there lost 65 million naira because it had to be shut down for a period. Now, speaking about maintenance culture in Nigeria, we see this, beautiful and good-looking projects being launched every now and again. But a few years down the line, you come back and you wonder what went wrong. Is this based off the issue of continuity, or just the fact that these things are not utilized for the reasons they were made?
Well, let's talk about launching programs. I think it's very primitive. This is the only place I see that. I don't know why we have to. Take for instance, you finish a road. Why can't you just why can't the road just be open and let people start using? Why do we have to invite the president? Do you know the cost of doing that? Do you know the cost of moving the president from here to that place? Okay, like the president left here for about 2 days now, right? You know what do you know what it's going to cost both the state and the federal government to move the president to just go and cut a tape? That's all. It's just to go and cut a tape. So, and I think we're not even helping our president to perform. Every time I watch, I haven't watched at any time whether Biden is going to commission a project in one state. No, you don't. You're wasting the president's time. You're wasting precious time. You're wasting our money. Okay, it's a complete waste of money, of resources and time. If you finish a project, just open it. Open it. We know that you have done it. Or at best, let it be in the news. Because
I believe when people see it working, they know you've done something. They know it's your job. Of
course. If you do a big project, it should be in the news. Just being in the news is okay. Like, this project has been commissioned, and we look at it, and things like that. That's okay. We don't have to do all this paparazzi around it. It's very unnecessary. Okay, and when you talk about you just said something today. We lost. You said
yesterday 65 million
lost. But you see, it doesn't matter to us, because after all, there's still going to be allocation. There's going to be further allocation, and for a state like Lagos that generates a lot of revenue, 65 million might look like it's nothing. At the end of the month, they're still going to get about 50 billion that they get every month. So like 65 million. So what's that compared to the optics of what they want people to see? So to them it doesn't matter. But I think I had also thought about it. There's so many things wrong with our democracy, so many things, and that is what those little things matter. They count. Okay, those little things count. To fly the presidential plane from here to Lagos and park it for 2 days in that place, plus all the other people that they have invited, all the ceremonies. Like in some states, when the governor is coming, you go and pack all these women and they wear their cultural uniforms just to come and clap for you and your people. All that is billions. At the end of the day, just find out the budget for that very program. You hear that about how many billion has been spent also. Tony, quite unnecessary.
Tony, let's take a bit of messages right now, and of course we'll get back to the third story for the day. Looking at the WhatsApp platform right now, the number is 080-9993-0137. Ensure that you include your name and your location. Let's see what you're saying on Facebook right now. My name is Oloye Adebayo from Wuse 2. Nigeria needs prayers. All right. And okay. Uchenna Okorafo says, may God help us in Nigeria. And let's see what else you're saying. All right, Ikechukwu Okonkwo, we see a message right there. Looking at what's up right now, whatever development going on in Lagos is politically motivated. I don't know why the state's governors cannot come together and see how they can support or get support from the federal government to build and develop state sectors of... Okay, all right, Cosmos, we see your message right there. And Geronimo from Dutse Haji says, I think Lagos is exceptional today, not because of this current leadership, but because of the pre-colonial systems that were put in place from the onset. The truth is, even if you put an incapable individual in the helms of affairs, the state will still lead itself. Lagos is automated and it precedes their current post-colonial leaders. Obadiah from Area 11, reacting to the power outage in Bauchi State, he says, only God can help us. And this shows bad leadership. And Gani Olomi in Gwagwalada says, congratulations for the blue train in Lagos. The commission of the additional seaports and rice mills in Lagos by the president. Kudos to the administration of the APC in Lagos. Let's get to the phone lines right now and hear some of what you have to say. 0700 951 0000 and 0809597 4869. Those are the numbers to call. Hello. Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Itodo. Good afternoon, I guess.
Go ahead.
My name is Abuja. I'm calling from Gwagwalada. You see, just like in sport, religion, you talk about sport fanatic, religion fanatic. We have fanaticism in leadership. Somebody who is enthusiastic about transforming life, changing the landscape, improving a leadership that touch the life of humanity. Whenever you take somebody who has a leadership fanaticism, he will touch life. He will improve things. That is about leader. And whatever power and resources you can give to somebody who is lackluster about leadership, he will not touch life. That is basic about it. Whether if you take somebody who don't have fanaticism about leadership, you take him to Lagos, he won't perform. It is about vision, passion for leadership.
All right. Thank you for calling in. 08099930137. That's the WhatsApp and text line. 08099930137. And this one from Coco right here in Abuja say, it is only one who wears the shoe that feels the pain. APC should also feel the pain of power failure for them to know that the government is not doing all that it promised, and also feel the pains of Nigerians on total power supply and infrastructure generally. Right now, there has been no power supply in my area, and I've been running on generators since last night. What area is this? Coco, do ought to let us know. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Itodo.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, our guest. My name is Salasi.
Go ahead, Salasi.
I want to talk about the power outage, most especially for what happened to the president. I remember vividly one of his cabinet ministers when they were in opposition. They say a government that is serious can fix life in 6 months. And here they are now for the past almost 8 years. They are about to pack their luggage and go. And we are still having this power failure. I'm telling you, with the high increase of electricity tariffs Nigerians are paying, they are not complaining. I say I have never seen the most calm people on the planet like Nigerians. Somebody say Nigerians are docile. It's not that they are calm. They are easygoing people. They will just wake up and increase the salary, the tariff, and we'll just keep quiet. They will increase fuel, and we'll just keep quiet. Look at what happened to him. Somebody mentioned maybe they were going to look for fuel. You know that the person that would have bring the fuel was on fuel queue. So how will he get fuel to put international? So these are the things. We remember about Mambila hydropower. We are talking of We are talking of so many things, and Nigeria have been even tasked to pay estimated bills. Gather this money together. I'm telling you, we have steady electricity. But we have leaders that have no vision. We have leaders that have no focus. We have leaders that have no passion.
All right, Selassie.
To the leading of our people. That is the kind of leader like Abubakar talk of fanatic leader.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello, Itodo.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Morris. I'm calling from Guaripa. Hello, our guest.
Go ahead.
Yes, as far as I'm concerned, the commissioning of the Lekki deep sea port is a waste. It's just like encouraging people to come and start buying speedboat or yacht in Abuja when there's no river. We are not producing, we are not manufacturing, we are not processing, we are not creating jobs, and we are not giving anyone. But you want the Lekki deep sea port? Is it for decoration? Is it for people to just come and see and have photo shops? You have concentrated the port in Lagos. When there's a port in Koko, in Delta State, there's a port in Wari, there's a port in Saple, there's a port in Eme, there's a port in Port Harcourt, there is in Calabar, and there's another one in Akwa Ibom. You have, because of wickedness, you don't want those ports to operate. You are talking about deep sea port. And look at the joblessness situation in Nigeria. People are not working. We're not manufacturing. We're not exporting. That's just a waste as far as I'm concerned. It's just a show. Thank you very much.
Hello. All right, Joel, to call us back if you can. Now, he's gone on to mention the fact that the ports, the one in Lagos that was just recently launched, comes off as a waste, even though the government says it's a good way to create jobs.
Well, I wouldn't say for now it's a waste, okay? Because even I think as at yesterday, a ship berthed there. Now the problem is, you see, there are times I've had to. There was a time when I had a container, even at the port, and it took more than a month to clear because there was congestion. Okay, so if we had more ports, okay, so for now that we have this one at Lekki, at least it means that some ship can move to that area. Okay. However, what we need to do is not to build, but don't forget that this one at this Lekki is built by Lagos State government. You understand? So if the question now is if the Lagos State government can build a port, why are other states waiting for federal government to come and build? I understand that all the other ports in Lagos, apart from this, are ports built by federal government. But Lagos State has shown that it is possible for states to also build ports. Akwa Ibom is doing very well. Akwa Ibom can build a port. River State can build a port. Delta, these are states that are doing very well. They are states that generate good revenue, that get good allocation because of the oil that they have in their areas. So if Lagos can do it, I think that they also can do it. However, I think that federal government can also decide. I think there's a port at One, or port in River State.
Yes.
What federal government needs to do is to go and find out why that port is not at a point. There was a time they said a ship, whether one ship from China also, berthed also there.
Yes.
So what we need to do is to find out why that place is not viable. What's stopping it? So that we can make it to start working very well. Every ship doesn't have to stop at Lagos. It even
can go to other parts of the country as well,
because the cost
reduce congestion.
The cost of taking your goods even to every other part of the country is very high and is risky also. So if we had a ship berthed at One or at Akwa Ibom or Calabar, now you can imagine what it will cost the businessman who has goods in Aba or Onitsha
and going all the way to Lagos
to move his goods down to his place. Aba to Akwa Ibom or to Calabar, especially to Akwa Ibom. Aba to Akwa Ibom, maybe about an hour drive.
If the roads are good.
If the roads are good. No, even now that the roads are bad, it's a very close. They are very close. If the roads were good, maybe it would even take you less than maybe about 30 minutes or 25 minutes. If the roads were good, you understand. So we don't need to have concentration of all the ports in one location, you know. But I think Lagos State likes it because it is generating huge revenue from it. However, it is also causing them, you know, other negative issues. Congestion. Everybody's in Lagos. You know, you would have heard about containers falling all the time in Lagos. These are part of the problem. The roads are bad, and all the containers are living on just one destination, just one place. You know, going to other destinations in the country. So I think that they have taken advantage of the contiguous nature of their country to the Atlantic Ocean. They have taken very good advantage of it. But I think that other states can also begin to see what they can do.
Learn a lesson
from
Lagos.
Look at the advantage that you have. Every state has an advantage in one area or the other. But what they have done is that they're not trying to see how they can take due advantage of that to develop the state. They just relax because they know that every month the Accountant General will tell them how much has entered the state coffers from the federal government, you know. And so there's a lot of relaxing, you know, from state governors. They're not working. They're not doing enough.
All right. Now, the deep seaport of Lekki is the first port in Nigeria with ship-to-shore cranes. So it has 3 of these container gantry cranes. They belong to the Superposed Panamax Group, and this means that they can reach and unload the rearmost row of containers, even if the container ship is wider than the Panama Canal, 49 meters or 100 feet maximum boat beam. The port has 3 terminals: the container terminal, the liquid terminal, as well as the dry bulk terminal. And in history, last year as the first ever vessel to berth at the port. So the government is saying that this is in a bid to create more jobs for Lagosians, as well as those who moved to Lagos, you know, to explore the opportunity.
I think that even around that corridor, they're trying to an airport there.
Yeah, exactly.
There's an airport that is also coming up. So you can't blame us. You can't blame it if if federal government allows them and maybe other governors are sleeping. Why not? They will take advantage and do what they can do to make things better for their people.
Well, the question is, can other states learn a lesson from Lagos and ensure that they are harnessing what they have in their states and creating more opportunities for residents there or citizens? Or
that's a big question.
Do we have to keep waiting?
Are they learning? What's the governor? The Benue State governor. In Benue State, call it the food basket.
Let's hold your thoughts right there. We'll go on a quick break right now. When I come back, I'll have you share all you want to say about the food basket of the nation. But you can share your thoughts right now via the WhatsApp and, of course, YouTube and Facebook, where we are live. We'll go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll take your thoughts, your comments, and, of course, continue on the roundtable today. Stay tuned.
Hello, my name is Kimberly Nwachukwu. I'm the host of Hard Facts, and I bring you the biggest stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigeria Info Hard Fact Show. I love to get your opinion and conjectures, but the facts you cannot dispute here on Hard Facts. Join me and let's talk.